Hey everybody, Puck here. I'm gonna do a YouTube tutorial on how I play StarCraft mechanically. So I'm gonna be going over a lot of the control groups and hotkeys and stuff like that, and a lot of basic stuff. There's gonna be a few things I probably will add on to this short notepad here, sticky note, and yeah, I hope my guide can help you all figure out how you want to play StarCraft yourself. But to start things off, I'm going to go over through some general stuff. And I'm going to start off with the Sentry. So the Sentry has this ability for hallucination. And a lot of the times players will use the Sentry hallucination to skull, like specifically with like a hallucinated Phoenix or like a Oracle. And I strongly recommend that you remove all of the hallucinated units that you're never going to plan to hallucinate. I only leave the War Prism, the Oracle, Phoenix, sometimes some Stalkers or Zealots. The Stalkers and Zealots come in handy in PvPs, say, if you want to do like a fake pressure with a couple of Sentry with Stalkers and Zealots. It can add a bit of a tank to your small army supply and can really throw off your opponent. Other than that, I keep my Phoenix, my Oracle, and sometimes I'll hallucinate a Warp Prism because it can also really throw off your opponent. Alright, the next one to go over Patrol. So by default, the Patrol key is set to P, which if you look on this keyboard, it's very far away compared to like where your hand naturally sits. So you got to think about where your hand naturally sits when we make these changes too. It's very important. Like you don't want to be reaching across the keyboard all the time. So what I do is I set my Patrol to Q, and I set my all army hotkey to caps lock instead of F4 because I use a camera hotkey for F4. And I know a lot of people are against using the all army hotkey, but the thing about the all army hotkey is that it's more or less used for control grouping units. I'll actually go into the unit test map here and kind of demonstrate why it is good to actually use the all army hotkey. So just give me 1 second. Yeah, like professional players use the all army hotkey all the time to hotkey units. Then we'll also be going over the rapid fire camera hotkeys and how I create control groups all together as well. So, I don't think it actually works in this map. Wait, maybe it did. Unit tester. Oh, it's in here. Legacy Void unit test map. You can make all kinds of like tests going into these maps to see what you're comfortable with. So we'll do the Legacy of the Void unit tester online. So let's just put some Stalkers, maybe some Stalkers and Zealots, Immortals, a couple Colossus, maybe an Observer. And
cold is the void.
So say if we split this up, right?
I am the
Wait,
voice of the eclipse.
the all army hotkey's not looking in here either. Am I using the right hotkeys? Are you gonna tell me that I have to actually create a standard game to test this pretty well? Unit management. No, it should work just fine.
I am the voice of the eclipse.
Interesting. Maybe if I...
We are one with the shadows.
I really want to be able to demonstrate this for you all. Let's just try... Let's try doing this unit test map one more time. Hopefully it'll work in here. I don't think it'll work in here either, though. No, it doesn't work in here. Oh my. I didn't think this would be so complicated. Alright, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do... Make sure we go to default for observer interface. We're just gonna let it replay here. Which one will be good? Let's do this one. Alright, we'll test all the hotkeys in this game. Fast forward a little bit. I'll also go over like what unit, like what numbers I assign to which unit, and yeah, I hope this will be very helpful. This was a game I played against Jim Rising. It's an actual monkey. It's his clan tag. So you can expect what happened in this game. Let's wait for a few more units to get out. So here you can actually kind of see my basic layout. And so my 0 right here, this is actually the tilde key on my keyboard. So this button right here is my Phoenix hotkey. And I also use spacebar for Warp Prism. And then 1 is my Phoenix, 2 is my main army, 3 will be like my High Templar or Disruptors or something like that. There's some hotkeys that are relatively interchangeable, so like I can utilize Phoenix and Oracles on both tilde and 1. Sometimes in certain situations, like if I have a mothership out, I will put my mothership on 1, so the Oracles have to move to tilde. Or like say if I have both Mass, Oracle, and Phoenix for whatever reason that much never happens, I will have Phoenix usually on tilde, then 1 for all the Oracles. Some things that you can consider, you see here 6 and 7. The Robo and Stargate are on separate hotkeys. You can actually put those on 1 and then tab through them. That's what a lot of pro gamers do. And they'll also sometimes use their Nexus hotkey with the Forge or upgrades. Like, and then gateways will sometimes be with the Cyber. Like, there's many different ways you can actually play StarCraft. But going back to the All Army hotkey, I'm going to explain it a little bit more here, because I feel like it's very important. So,
upgrade complete.
Let's just say it's already saw my hotkeys here, except Observer. So we have no created hotkeys, right? But nothing's assigned to hotkeys. If I use the All Army hotkey, I have everything on 1, right? Like it takes every single army unit in the game. If I want to organize this really quickly, I will probably do it like so the highest priority is going to be your main army usually, unless you're way back here. If you're out on the map though, your main army is going to be most important. Like if you ever find yourself losing all of your control groups, the All Army hotkey can really help you out here. So let's just do this really quickly. If I hold Control and I hold Shift, I can get rid of the Oracles, the Phoenix, and the Warp Prism, create the hotkey, right? Now these units are assigned. Now, I don't know where the Oracles are on the map, but if I press the All Army hotkey, I can Control-click the Oracles, do Control-1 or Alt-1, and bam, they're right there. And they're assigned to my control groups now, right? So, Now we only have the Phoenix and the Warp Prism left to assign. To do that, I'll control click the Phoenix, do Alt tilde, do the Army Hockey again, and click the Warp Prism, and then control spacebar. And then all my units are now assigned. I can play the game pretty smooth, in a pretty smooth fashion, and yeah, like I can keep my focus now. There'll also be times where, like, say, you're up in units, and you didn't hotkey them yet, and you want to hotkey them. Well, your units are here, but you want to focus all of your attention right here. You can still hotkey those units by using the army hotkey, control clicking the stalkers, and now clicking Shift 2 to add them to your main army hotkey. And you really want to be careful about using the all army hotkey because you don't want to get into the habit of just always using the all army hotkey by default. Because now all of my army is moving and moving all locations that I want them to be in. And then all of a sudden you might accidentally re-hotkey them all. So then you're stuck in a situation again where, oh, I need to practice my control grouping again. So now I have to recreate everything. You see how fast I can do that? You can all do that too. If you go into a map like this and just practice it. It's very good practice. It's a very strong skill set to obtain. And I highly recommend you Masters players, maybe Diamond players, but if you're not Diamond or Masters Plus, I would not worry too much on making this your #1 requirement, because there's still a lot of basic stuff that you should probably get down, like just basic control grouping. But yeah, so there's a few other changes I want to talk about as well. Let's talk about, let's see, if you go to global control groups. So here, you see that I don't actually have create control group 1 assigned to anything. And if you scroll down here, you see add to, select, and then create control group and take away units. So the thing about this is that the add to control group 1 functions the exact same way as the create control group 1. But the difference here is the create control group 1 and take away units. This allows, so say if you have, say you want to split up your army into 2 different control groups, right? By doing the create and take away units, those units get taken off the control group that you just created from the one that they were on before. So this kind of makes defending drops or just being in 2 places at one time much better. And another thing that's really great about this control group method is that if you want to, like, put units out onto the map, with the add and take away units, you could essentially create a dump hotkey, especially useful for Zerg players. And what this does is, like, you can just send single units out onto the map very easily by doing the control or alt tilde in my case. And I'm just single-handedly removing units from the control group. And the greatest thing is that you don't necessarily have to have this assigned hotkey. You don't have to have a button that reaches out to it. So in this case, I have control groups. I have about 2 open control groups I never use. Like, I never use this control 8. So I could actually delete this hotkey. And then, well, you actually want to leave this like that, but you delete the select one. You delete this select one. And that will essentially create a dump hotkey. Whether you remove the select control group 8 or what, it's really not too important, but it makes it so you don't accidentally hit it and then move a unit. It's hit or miss. There's some benefits and disadvantages to each. But yeah, okay. What else? So going over, if we were to do the old-fashioned method, like say create control group 1, let's do Actually, I don't want to actually mess with my control groups. I will just presume that you all got the point on that, and I believe this is the end of my tutorial. I want to add a couple of things. Like, there's some things you have to be very careful about. So, like, say if we have like a mothership out, the mothership's recall by default I think is T. So you have T for Nexus, and then T for mothership. Both are recalls. You want to be very careful about that, because if you accidentally misclick and you have your Nexus to recall, or your mothership, if you need to recall your army and then you press T, your mothership selected, then all of a sudden your army is just going to teleport on top of the mothership. It's just kind of pointless if it's already in big engagement. Make sure you like put these at different hotkeys so you don't run into that issue. Storm and force field could be an issue, or yeah, just if you ever see something consistently happening, be willing to change it up and try other things. And this is the end of my tutorial. I hope you learned something, and good luck in all of your ladder games.